movie notes on The Big Short, 2015 film, 22 August 2024 viewing. I just finished viewing this today, Thursday, 22 August 2024. I am Tanis Coralee Leonhardi, she, her, hers of Seattle. And my description for the movie for this viewing is that it's a biographical film about various investors banking who made a profit off the failing of the United States of America housing market in approximately 2008. And this movie particularly zooms in on the crash in March 2008. And yes, so if there's like in American history a biggest thing, you know, that tone set the entire year, it was the housing market crashed. It changed the trajectory of the presidential election. It was, you know, history changing, the most history changing of anything that year, aside from I'm a She, Her, Hers, Mamma Mia being released that summer, 2008. Okay, well, and I placed, you know, well, 6th at History Day in the state level, you know, okay, that kind of stuff. You know, my own life matters in this. And so, and was that, no, I think the year before I went to Mexico for a mission trip. Anyway, point being, the term they use is shorting, and it's an intent to make a profit off of something failing. And there's kind of, in this movie, the group of investors that it covers, the banking investors, I would say fall into category if there's like two broadly, like kind of, there's the good, but making a profit off something failing, and then like kind of like the bad. And they allude to bad bankers, and I don't think they really got the bad bankers, but in this, but, or investors or whatever. I would say, so there's the good ones who are like, we see something's wrong with the housing market and we don't know what to do about it, and we can't do anything about it because we're bankers. So I'm going to bet against the housing market, or I'm going to try and make a profit off it failing because nobody else is saying anything, and we don't want to have us thinking of the Titanic with no witnesses. So I'm going to take and try and make a profit off of it, because if I take and try and make a profit off of it, then at least when the Titanic sinks, somebody saw it sink, right? It wasn't, nobody saw it coming. There were people, at least one person saw it coming and had enough balls to actually say, you know what, there's a problem here, and if I say something and I make a profit off of it, it is documented that somebody saw it, it was predictable, it can be prevented in the future. Right? And there wasn't just one person who did that. There were various investors who did that. And so I applaud them. And so that's the good type. And the bad type see the problem and goes, you know, a lot of people aren't going to say anything or don't have the ability to act. There are going to be some daredevils out there who try to be heroes by being like, you know what, we said something, and because we can't change anything, we're going to try and make a profit off of it so people can remember that it happened, right? The heroes, which is about the movie. But the bad ones go, you know what? Maybe we're not going to say anything because we want to cause it to happen, right? And they might make profit off of it too. But it's kind of like a dirty deal, kind of making a profit. Right? Profit can be money, profit can be something else, but they didn't really get into the people who want to profit off of somebody failing and like short something or try and make a profit and attempt to cause it to fail. All right, so that is what I classify the bad. Okay. So what does it mean to short something, make a profit from someone and or something failing? All right, so that's, and I really enjoy this movie on this channel. I've said before, this is my favorite movie. It kind of changed in the past few years, but this is one where I say, I applaud Hollywood on trying, they tried, past tense, done, to get it right, and show that, you know what? They weren't all bad, okay? You know, some people actually had enough guts to be like, we're going to be witness to this and not revise what we said, which is what all the high schoolers were doing. I know, I was in high school, and there were those honors students with all the parents that were the medical people in the world tuned into this and just revised what they said every step of the way. Thank God for bankers, right? Thank God for Hollywood. Okay, so, and now we're going to do the extraction to and application to my own life. Developing a multimedia storage system for homeschooling the kiddos. Yes, so what about videos? What about pictures? What about handwritten documents? What about sculpture class? Ceramic class, right? I made this in a class. Was it ceramics or sculpture? Anyway, in school. Just this one. Where are we going to store things? for homeschooling. What's the system going to be? If Cristiano moves in with me, or whoever I'm living with, if we have not started already, we need to figure out multimedia, right? And multimedia, so there can be different, like, mediums, right? Media, and figuring out how to share that. And if technology is not good enough for that, we build it. Okay. There's one thing. Next thing. Me and Cristiano, with an H, like baby Jesus from northern Italy, may need to learn French, be students as well if Washington State, Minnesota, Alaska, and Hawaii join Canada. Grandparents, parents, and kiddos potentially all learning at the same time. Yeah, the parents might be we might be in the class as well. Okay. For clarity, my Cristiano has not at any point in time to date, Thursday, 22 August 2024, had a YouTube channel. Misinformation about us corresponds to our offspring, not, so what's like the consequence of misinformation, essentially? Misinformation about us corresponds to our offspring not competing in the corresponding competition space. So if my Cristiano competed in soccer, then our children will not. If people wanted our offspring to compete in soccer, they would not have let the misinformation come into existence in the first place, much less published/propagated it. On YouTube, this may correspond to the misinformation content not being allowed to be uploaded in the first place, right? You don't want it, cut it off. We will not knowingly send our offspring through what we went/are going through. Josh, moving scenario. He describes he may be confused with his identical twin/triplet brothers. Personal life information published online at the time of moving is about one of his brothers, not him. I would find this helpful, and guess my parents would as well. So like he shows up and he's like, yeah, just so you guys know, I am a twin or a triplet, and so if you look me up or anything like that, in the meantime, if there's personal life information, it says with somebody, that's not me, that's one of my identical twins or triplets or whatever. Okay. After moved/one moving, clarify with each other whether it is a need or not for him to compete with his real name and or date of birth. Move forward with selecting competitions for him to compete at accordingly. So what's the need? Not what's the want, what's the need? Okay. Another YouTube thing, all of the subscribers to this YouTube channel, Tanis Leonhardi, are beautiful people. That is not true for all YouTube channels. Is this sabotage? I have said repeatedly I am mean. Not all of us can be not as nice as Elon Musk. Okay. And then, why did I get this in the first place? YouTube disliker type that dislikes video for people/things they are shorting/shorted. That is why I make videos, to multiply the thing being disliked, to make sure I am not confused with the disliker. Yeah, so I found that with sports. You know, I'll have a bunch of videos and it'll, you know, I get on average 1 dislike on 15 videos, you know. So when one person comes along and dislikes one thing, they go, they can't see me, and I'm like looking at all my videos and I'm going, I can see very clearly that 1 dislike on every competition that was hosted in China. You know? Like, so they think they're being clever, but in reality it's like, there's only 1 dislike, and it's 1 thing in comment, right? So it's very obvious. So then I go, you know what? To make sure I'm not confused with you who's trying to make a profit off of China failing, right? What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna start posting more videos with results in China and make sure to diversify what nationalities, you know, what nations the people were representing, so that it makes clear not only is the disliker not like me, they're not like anybody, right? They're 1 dislike, 1 account repeatedly, right? It's not like, well, it's not like they're with somebody else, right? They're alone and they're standing. And so I'm like, let's just make sure and hit it on the head. This channel is not like that. This channel likes China, right? So that's a recent example. Well, and ongoing, but yeah, there we go. That was one that exists in sports, and I find slightly amusing. So I'm like, oh, you think you're hiding, but you were the only dislike in any of my last 28 videos, or 35 videos. So you know it's rather obvious. I do make a fair amount of videos, so some people just aren't. They don't got a whole lot in their noggin. Anyway, so my movie notes on The Big Short, 2015 film, 22 August 2024 viewing.